G'day guys, Steve with Broken Sprocket. In this video I take the RMZ 250 out for the first ride. I'm going to go through some points with the thing, how much power it has, how well it corners, how it jumps, how the bike feels overall, and also my first crash on this bike. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Okay, the power is much different to the YZ 250 and also to the RMX 450. The power on this bike doesn't just pop the wheel up non-stop all the time. If you want to do a wheel stand on this bike, you sort of have to try a little bit, whereas the YZ 250 would pop the wheel up every 2 seconds, many gears, and with no effort. Same with this bike over here. This one here, you sort of have to search for that sort of wheel stand type power. When it comes to jumping this bike, I'm used to bikes with much more power and you can approach the jumps a little bit more lazily and still clear the jumps. On this bike here, I'm not used to that little bit less power, which is something I'm going to have to practice on because I was dropping short on many of the jumps. So what did I like best about the bike? Well, the corners. This bike rides corners really well. Probably the best cornering bike that I've ridden so far. It just seems to go into the corner, hold the corner. It doesn't want to come out with the power and jump the front wheel out of a rut or go to one side, and when it comes out it doesn't want to kick the back out way out wide like a bike with big power will do. It just seems to grab that corner and really hold it the way that you want it to go. So it really feels like you're really in control of this bike in the corners. That's probably the most fun thing I found with this bike, is the cornering on it. I think when I get used to the bike and practice a little bit more on it, that will be the most fun there is on this bike, is corners. So I catch up to Carlos, and Carlos is my friend Charlie's son. It's the very first time he rode around this track. So I just followed him for a little bit just to have a watch of him do a couple of jumps, and he did really well. So I go past Carlos and I'm coming up to a corner where I can get a visual of the car parking lot, where I'm looking for my youngest son Luca, who isn't capable of riding around this main track. And as I was trying to get a visual of him, I wasn't concentrating on the corner that I was approaching, and I crashed the bike. Thank you. I was looking for Luca in the parking lot. So after crashing the bike, I decided to look for my other son Zachary. He's on a YZ85 and he has the loudest bike in the whole complex. So all you have to do is listen for him and you can find him. So I really do have to do something for his exhaust pipe. I really need to repack it because it's so noisy.
right now.
So after I had a little play with the boys, I decided to go around the Mt Kembla circuit at my own pace just to get used to this bike. And I found that it was a really fun bike to ride, and it felt like that I was really in control of it, unlike the YZ250, which kind of felt like I was just holding on and hoping for the best. So I'm really looking forward to my next ride on this RMZ 250. More of a feel for it. Feel about the RMZ 250. I think it's a really good bike. I just have to get used to the way it is and adjust to that lack of power and find its power, because it's something you have to search for on this bike. You have to find the best part of the power, whereas on the 252 stroke and the 450 the power is just there with no effort, so you can actually be fairly lazy ride, especially on the 450, whereas on this bike here you have to work a little bit harder just to find that power. But I found the bike actually really fun to ride. It handles really nicely, and I'm looking forward to riding it again.